And today I'm going to be giving you like the quickest, crashiest crash course of Noodle ever. Um, if you're completely new to Noodle, it might be a good idea to do the interactive tutorials that we have in the editor. You'll see them as soon as you open the app, like it's the things you see the first at the top. But I think it's a good idea to just give you like a quick rundown anyways. And I can also show you the template that we've been creating for the Noodle and Weavy hackathon so that you can get going really, really quickly. Yeah, so let's get into it. Here behind me, you see the Noodle editor. We have like this huge white box here. This is the app preview. It shows you your app in real time and all of the updates and everything that you do to it. Below it, you have the node graph canvas. And essentially, this is where you build all of your apps. Noodle is a node-based editor, which means that your whole app is essentially a mind map with nodes that you connect to one another to, so they do really cool things together. If you click a node, it opens the node's property panel. And here you have, like, this is a text node, so it has like all of the settings for a text node. Like, you can change the text style to different things. And you see it updates instantly as well in the editor here. And all these text styles, so like we have a couple of pre-made ones. All of these are customizable, and you can delete them, you can create new ones, so on and so forth. And we have the same thing with the like different color variables too. And same thing there. You can create new ones, update them, change them. And the cool thing about them is that all the changes that you make propagate throughout your whole app. So this is a great way to, get your design systems going. So it's really nice. So if you want to create something in Noodle, we open up the node picker, and it has like a lot of nodes here. Like we have tons of them, and they all do like different things, and they all have like a little bit of a documentation here. You can open the full documentation for them, and so on and so forth. So let's do that. Let's create a text node here. And as you see, it's not being rendered now. It actually gets like a little warning here. And it says that this node is detached from the main node tree and won't be rendered. This is the thing with the visual nodes. You know that the nodes are visual nodes because they have this little blue color. And all visual nodes need to be kind of connected together in the node tree here. And this is specific for the visual nodes. And you see, as soon as I kind of dragged it in here, it got connected up and it started showing in the app here. And right now it just says text. We can of course change that to anything. But I will take this as an opportunity to show you the next cool thing about Noodle, which is the connections and how you connect nodes to one another. So I will create a string node. Now, in a real world app, you would not probably use a static string like this, but this is a demo, so we'll not be using any dynamic data right now. We'll just, bare bones, really simple. So when we open up the strings property panel, you see it only has one thing, and it's just a string. So let's say, welcome to the hackathon, with an exclamation mark. And now you see nothing happened, and this is because like it's not part of the node tree. It's not a visual node. It just holds some data. But as you see here, you actually see, when you select it, you actually see the data that it contains. So let's send this string to the text node that we have here. So the easy way to do it is just to click and drag, and then you get the connection panels. And here we want to send the value from the string node to the text node. And you see it updated here, so it says welcome to the hackathon. Let's click the welcome to the hackathon text and just make it a little bit more pretty. Wow, amazing. What an app. Now, to make this a real app, we kind of want to interact with it. So let's do that too. So what we can do here is that we can create a button, because buttons are the easiest way to interact with things. I mean, in general. Let's just give it some spacing here. Like anybody understands a button, is what I mean. Here, and let's change the label to click me. And now, you see, we click it, but nothing happens. And why doesn't it happen? Well, it's because we haven't connected to anything yet. So let's do that. I'll probably use a function node right now. And a function node is essentially a node where you can write your own JavaScript. Um, so let's just do that. Alert and say hello. And you see now it actually ran straight away. And if I reload, it does the same thing again. And this is because the function nodes always run as soon as they are being created or like rendered. And this is, for some things, this is desirable behavior. Right now, it's not. So let's actually control when this function is being run. So we do like this. Once again, we drag a connection between the button and the function and send the click event to the run action. And now, whenever we click the button, we see the alert. Cool. Now, another cool thing with the function nodes is that you can actually send inputs and outputs to them just like you can with all the other nodes. So let us do that. So instead of alerting hello, maybe we can alert inputs dot message. And now what this does is that it actually creates an input to this function. So we can take this string that we have here and send that value to the message input. And now when we click it, it says welcome to the hackathon instead. And this is really, really neat. You can do it with anything. We can create a text input. Let's put it here. Let's just limit that to, say, 300 pixels. Give it some spacing at the bottom. And then we will take the text input, connect it to the function, and send the text to the message. And now if we say cool, and then we click, we see that the alert says cool. Cool. Now, alerts have not been used since about 1997, so let's do something more modern with this. Let's remove the text input and the function. I want to create a pop-up. So a really cool thing with Noodle is that anything can be a component. And a component is essentially a piece of code or a piece of, like, it's a node graph that can be reused anywhere. And it can have like different inputs and outputs, and you can do really cool things with them. And it's one of the things that make Noodle really, really nice to work with and make scalable and create design systems and all of those things. So to create a new component, we go up here to this little sign here and click it, and then you see like you can create a folder, but then you can create 3 different types of components. And so the first one is the page component. This is essentially the pages that will be available in the different page routers that we have. There are like page router nodes that you can connect and navigate to. Then we have visual components. Visual components are there for all of the visual stuff. So whenever you want to render UI and such, you have that. And then you have logic components, and that is just purely for functionality. And it's really good for, using functionality or reusing it across your app, essentially. But we want to create a pop-up, so let's create a visual component for that. And let's call it pop-up, because I have no imagination. And just, quickly create a text here. We can say clicked. And let's also make the text white. And then we have the group, and let's make that background color a jarring primary so that we really, really see that, something has been clicked. Yeah, that's cool. Let's go back to the Noodle demo component. You see here, like every component has its own node graph. So this is essentially like the components panel is where you navigate between them. So let's go back here and let's show this component when we click the pop-up button. So for that, we can use the show pop-up node. And when we click that and we click show, and now nothing happens. That is once again because I forgot to do something. And the thing I forgot to do is that this show pop-up node doesn't really know what we want to show. So I will open up its property panel and select the pop-up that we just created. There we go. And so now when I click it, wow, beautiful. Here it is. But right now we have no way of closing it apart from like reloading the page. So let's do that. And if I double click the show pop-up node, it will actually open up the node graph for the component that that pop-up shows, if that makes sense. So in this, we can use the close pop-up. And let's make it so that when you click the whole group, we close it. And so now when we click it, it opens the pop-up. And when we click the pop-up, it closes it. And now, I mean, this app won't win any hackathons, but if cookie clicker can be a thing, I think this can be a nice app as well. So yeah, that's essentially like the basics of Noodle. Once again, the interactive tutorials are great to learn more things with like dynamic data and things like that. And it's also like we have a lot of documentation and guides and things, and also an active Discord community. So if you have questions, you can ask things there as well. Yeah, so let's take a look at the template for the Weavy Noodle hackathon prefab, or no, prefab is another thing. But that's actually a cool thing as well. We do have prefabs and modules, and essentially what that is that it's pre-created components. So you know, we can clone these or install them. Like if there's a UI you want to build, but you don't want to build everything from scratch, there are a couple of these. And we also have like connections for different things like Google Sheets and GraphQL, QR scanning, you know, all of this. It's really fun. Hey, that's my cat's secret. Anyways, yeah, sorry, off track. Let's go back to the template stuff for the hackathon. So let me just change the home component here. Right. So obviously the things that I did before, it won't be included in the template. Like this is what you will see. And it consists of, you know, 2 pages for logging in and signing up. And then it contains some hooking up things so that you can, you know, just drop in the Weavy stuff. And it's really nice because, you know, you don't have to think about the user authentication and creation and such. Like we've done that for you here. So you can, you know, if you don't have an account, you can sign up. I already have an account, so let me log in. There we go. And so this is kind of the page you see when you log in. And here we have created like a little header with a little logout button. And essentially like this is the Weavy chat. Here are the Weavy files. And here are the Weavy posts. And all of this is like really bare bones styled. So it's really like, you know, get in there, go ham, do whatever you want. Yeah. And here in the sidebar, you can also see like there are some components. We have the navigation menu component here. We have a page container for some layouting stuff. So if you want to see, you know, more of how we do more customizable things, we have that as well. And then we have the pages here. So we have the login page, the sign up page, and then the different pages for chat, files, and sign up. No, sorry, and posts. But yeah, sign up is a thing as well. And we also have a folder which is Weavy, and I think the only here is the Weavy function here. And essentially, like if you want to do more advanced things with Weavy, you can open up the script, and here you have, you know, all the configuration and things like that that you can, you know, expand upon and use the Weavy web API to, yeah, to make it your own. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I had for you today. Yeah. I hope you're going to be having a lot of fun with this hackathon. I hope to see a lot of really fun things being made. And yeah, good luck. Bye.
Hey guys, I'm Joanna, technology advocate at Weavy. Now that you've had a crash course in the Noodle, let's check how you connect Weavy to your Noodle project. First of all, you need a Weavy account, which you can get at get.weavy.io. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And here you can find your Weavy products, chat feeds, and files. But what we're interested in right now is the environments. This is essentially the Weavy backend that we're going to connect to the Noodle project. To get started, you press create environment, give it a name, and press create. Give it whatever name you want. Here you can see I've created one called Noodle, which is currently running. And for this example, I'm going to be using the app template that our friends over at Noodle put together. To use this yourself, you go to the Noodle docs, press library, examples, and Weavy integration. Here you can find some of the information I'm going to be showing you, as well as extra things, such as how to modify the app component inside Noodle. I'm going to go ahead and press import. This is going to open up the project inside Noodle. It's worth noting that this is a whole project and is not meant to be imported into an existing project. Alright, we're in. I think you've already seen this screen with Kotte. Problem with this is that it does not work just like this. You need to connect it to the backend that you created over at Weavy. To do that, we go to the left-hand side and press Cloud Services. Here in this example, you can see the Weavy template Cloud Services. Go ahead and press Open Dashboard. Bring the screen over. We're going to go down to Configuration, and here we need to add two parameters. First one is the Weavy environment URL. Keep in mind that this is case sensitive and needs to be written just like that. For the value, we go back to our Weavy account, we open up the environment that we created, and we grab the URL from the top. Going back into Noodle, paste this, and for the Weavy environment URL, I'm going to toggle off requires master key, since the environment URL does not require the master key. Great. The second parameter we need is the Weavy API key. For this one, we go back into our Weavy account inside the environment, and at the bottom you find API keys. Here I'm going to press generate key. I'm going to call this a key and press generate. Here we have the key. I'm going to copy it, go back to Noodle, and paste this here. The Weavy API key does require master key, so keep this toggled on. Great. Alright, that's all we need to do to connect the Weavy backend to the Noodle project. Now we're able to log in. However, the login here is not the login that you're using for your Weavy account, so you'll have to sign up. Go ahead and sign up. And press sign up, which brings me into the application. Easy as that. Now that we have signed in, we can open up the dashboard again and check users. You can see that we have one user, which is me, that just signed in. Super easy, right? Happy hacking, and good luck to all the teams.